Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 8 of our procurement and sourcing series. In this episode, we will explore about the purchase agreement capabilities in Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation. With no further delay, let's quickly jump into today's topic. So let's quickly get into today's video. Let's first start off with the fundamental definition for purchase agreement. A purchase agreement is a contract that commits an organization to buy a specified quantity or amount by using multiple purchase orders over a period of time. So in some organizations, this is referred to as a blanket agreement or blanket purchase agreement. In Dynamics 365, the purchase agreement is a functionality which allows you to get into an engagement with your vendors by which you will be committed to buy a specific quantity or volume or the value of goods or services by which the vendor has agreed to provide an additional discount. So let's say we are in the beginning of the year and you get into an agreement with the vendor and you made an agreement saying that the next 1 year I'm going to buy 100 Surface Pro laptops. So since you made a commitment, the vendor is willing to give additional discount for that particular commitment. So how do we track those commitments and how do we apply those discounts in the purchase orders? So that's what we are going to see in this video. So to make sure that you watch this video until end. So next thing is the receipt date of the purchase order must be within the effective dates of the validity period. What this exactly means is quickly we will create a purchase agreement, and also we will see how to link a purchase agreement to a purchase order. But when you create a purchase agreement, it has an expiry date. So whatever the receipt which comes within the expiry dates are only considered for the discounts which need to be applied. So you need to make sure the receipt date or within the expiry date of the purchase agreements. And each and every purchase agreement has three important statuses. One, on hold, effective, two, and the three is closed. Once if the purchase agreement is created, by default it will be always on in the status of on hold. And you can either submit it for workflow, get it approved, and then update the status to effective, or you can manually go ahead based on the primary worker and the secondary worker assigned to the purchase agreement. And then the last status is closed. Once the purchase agreement is closed, even though it does not reach the expiry date, or once if it has crossed the expiry date, the purchase agreement will be automatically closed. But even though if it does not reach the expiry date, the users will be able to go and manually update it to a status called closed. So once if it is in closed or on hold status, so users will not be able to use those purchase agreements in the purchase order. And the fourth important point is that once you have created an agreement, you can use it when you create a purchase order and link purchase order lines to an effective agreement. So it's not that you need to link a purchase agreement with a purchase order header. You can also link the purchase order lines. Each and every line in the purchase order can have multiple purchase agreements linked to it. So it's not necessary that you need to create separate purchase orders for each and every agreement. So you can link it at the line level. We will also see, maybe not in this video, but in the next part 2 of the purchase agreement, we will explore that. And the last important point which I also want to share is the price and discounts of the purchase agreement override the price and discounts that are specified in any trade agreements that exist. So as we progress in this procurement and sourcing series, we will also try to understand what is trade agreement, how to apply the price and discounts from the trade agreement to your purchase order lines. But whatever the trade agreement price you have in your system, that will be override by the prices which are available in purchase agreements if there is a relevant match for the item and the product and storage dimensions. This is because purchase agreement is a commitment, but trade agreement is not a commitment to the vendor, because you have made a commitment to the vendor to buy a specific quantity over a period of time. Right. So another important aspect to the purchase agreement is we have four major commitment types. One is product quantity type, product value commitment, and product category value commitment, and value commitment, which is just a overall value commitment. So the difference between the product quantity commitment and the others we will see quickly. First of all, the quantity commitment, which purely with respect to the number of units which you will be buying from the vendor. Let's say the Surface Pro laptop, I am willing to buy 100 quantities in the next 1 year, maybe in the next 1 year or 6 months. So that's a quantity commitment. Product value commitment is, let's say, instead of committing to the quantity, you are committing based on the value. Let's say I am willing to buy Surface Pro laptop worth maybe $100,000 in the next 1 year. And the third one is product category value commitment. Under you, because we already discussed about procurement category hierarchy, product catalogs. Please do check out those videos in which we have clearly explained the details about the product category. So if you are making a commitment at the category level, let's say you are making a commitment at the office machines level, where you have computers, accessories, hardwares. So you may have multiple items tagged to the particular category office machines, right? So if you're making a value commitment at the category level, then you need to make sure that you select the third commitment. And the fourth commitment is not specific to any product or category. In general, if you buy any item from the vendor, what is the overall value which you have committed, and based on which the vendor is going to offer you a discount. And what this table says is, only apart from the product commitment, product quantity commitment, you will not be able to modify unit price unit, or quantity for any of the other three commitments. So only for product quantity commitment, you will be able to update the quantity, unit price, discount percent, and the cash discount amount also. So let's quickly see this in Dynamics 365 screen. I hope you understood the basics of purchase agreement. So let me get into Dynamics 365. So first of all, in order to create a new purchase agreement, go to procurement and sourcing module, and within procurement and sourcing module, there is a section called purchase agreement, and click on purchase agreement form. So this opens up a list page where you will be able to find the previously created purchase agreements along with the statuses and the purchase agreement ID. So this gives you an idea what are the purchase agreements which are already available in the system. To create a new purchase agreement, click on new in the top, and select a vendor account, because which is the most important aspect. Let me select a vendor account, and you need to select a purchase agreement classification. So this is kind of which is used for your reporting purposes. This is a separate master where you can go and update and create based on your own terminology. So if you create a new, you can also add certifications if you want as part of your purchase agreements. You can also add the line matching policy for each and every line. What is the policy you want to follow? If it is a company policy, it takes the configuration setup in your accounts payable parameters, or you can also have a agreement specific matching policy whenever the purchase orders are invoiced. And you can also assign a primary responsible worker and secondary responsible worker if you want, who will be able to make changes to the purchase agreements. So so this is primarily used for the reporting purposes, and even if you want to have your own custom reports using Power Apps or Power BI published reports, you can make use of these purchase agreement classifications. And the third important aspect is you need to select the expiration date. This is the period within which the purchase agreement will be valid. So this is what I mentioned in my presentation also. The receipt date should be within the validity period. So within this validity period, whatever the receipt which comes will be considered for your purchase agreement discounts. So then fourth important aspect is the default commitment type. So like we discussed, there are four important commitment types which are available in Dynamics 365. So right now, let's start off by doing a product quantity commitment, and we'll also quickly see in this video how to make a product value commitment, and then we'll also see how to convert the agreement into a purchase order. So this has actually created a purchase agreement with a header and the line level details. And you can also see the commitment type over here. You can also at any point in time change the commitment over here. You have the effective date and expiration date which we have updated in the creation pane. And you can also see the status currently is kept as on hold. And like we discussed in the PowerPoint, we have three statuses over here. Until unless the purchase agreement is effective, you will not be able to use the purchase agreement to link it to a purchase order. And if it is closed, and that brings the purchase agreement to the end of the cycle. But at any point in time, even the closed purchase agreement can be brought back to um, the effective status. So let me first of all add a line. Item number, let me add a item number, let it be a Surface Pro laptop. So I'm getting into an agreement with Acme Office Supplies to buy Surface Pro laptop in site 1 warehouse 11 for a quantity of 100, maybe quantity of 100 over the next 1 year period. So because of that commitment which I made, the vendor is willing to give additional discount of maybe 3% for the unit price of maybe $112. I'm just keeping this example simple, maybe, um, and then in the line details, you have the option called generals, price, discounts, fulfillment. You can here also you can see the discount percent, whatever we update over here, it gets cascaded over here. You can also see the unit price per price unit. So this is for 1 unit, and the price which we have updated, and the price and discount is fixed. We will quickly see the options which are available in purchase agreements, because I just want to cover upon three important options, but not in this video, but in the next episode. So here you can see the fulfillment rate. So let's say if this purchase agreement is published, actually for under quantity, how much quantity is released, because here you can see the option to release the order. From the purchase agreements also, you can create a purchase order. So how much is released, and out of 100, let's say if we have created a purchase order for 10 quantity, then out of the 10 quantity, we have received 5 quantity, and out of that 5 quantity, how much is invoiced, maybe 2 or 3 or all the 5. So in the purchase agreement, for each and every line you have added, you will be able to know what is the fulfillment rate. And you can also add the product dimensions. In this case, for this particular Surface Pro laptop, only site and warehouse is applicable. Otherwise, make sure that whatever the product and storage dimensions, you need to add those dimensions also. So let's quickly get into save this and let me confirm this. So before confirmation, either I can change the status over here, or if I click on confirmation, at that point in time also, system will ask me whether I want to mark the agreement as effective. So you can mark the agreement as effective and then click on OK. So now this purchase agreement is confirmed, and you can see the purchase agreement confirmation journal also. So if there are multiple confirmations, then all those confirmations will be listed over here. For example, if I go back and if I change the quantity, let's say now I just agreed with the vendor that for even for 90 quantity he is willing to give me this discount of 3%, and then I just want to save this agreement. Then look, let me quickly confirm this. So once I confirm it, then you can see another journal which will get created by in the confirmation journal page. So you can see this is the confirmation journal which will be considered as the latest one. And whenever we create a purchase order, this is the quantity which will be referred, and this is the price and discount which will be taken in the purchase order. So from this purchase agreement, you can also release a purchase order. On the top, you can see there is a release order option. Just simply click on the release order, and you can see the item number, variant, purchase quantity. Here you have to update the purchase quantity. So let's say I'm releasing the order for 10 quantity of Surface Pro laptop, and if we click on create, immediately a purchase order will be created. So this is how you create a purchase agreement, by getting into a commitment with your vendors, and the buying legal entity can update the discount percentage and the prices and price per unit in your in your purchase agreements, and create a purchase order from the purchase agreements directly. So let's copy this number. Let me go to purchase orders, and then let me refresh this page. I think I need to refresh this page. Um, Let me copy paste the number. So this is the purchase order which got created from the purchase agreement, and you can see the quantity is 10 and the unit price is $12, and we are getting an additional discount of 3%. So this is a purchase order which got created from the purchase agreement. And if you go to update line, and if you click on attached, then you can also see the agreement ID which got linked to this particular purchase agreement at any point in time. And let's go back to our purchase agreements, because I also want to show you how to create a value commitment. Because in this case of quantity commitment, you can see that we were allowed to create the line along with the quantity, and we are also able to update the unit price and discount percent. But in the next case, let me create a new purchase agreement. This time what we are going to do is, we will be creating a product value commitment, because I just want to show you how the value commitment works. Let me select the blanket purchase agreement as a purchase agreement classification and an expiry date. And so the moment actually when we select the value commitment, we will not be allowed to update the uh, quantity or the price, because we will be allowed to update only the discount percent. So since this is a value commitment, let me click on add line. So let me add the same Surface Pro laptop. 128 GB. Now let me enter the site and warehouse. Now if I click on tab, it directly goes to the net amount and not the quantity or the unit. And even if you see here, I can update the discount percent but not the unit price. Unit price is disabled for me. So which means basically when you are getting into a value commitment, you are supposed to update only the value because quantity is not needed in that case. So that's the reason the quantity is not tracked, and the overall value based on which you want to procure the materials from the vendor. So that's what we are going to update here. Let's say for I'm getting into an agreement where I am going to buy 100,000 dollars worth of value worth of item, Surface Pro laptop from this vendor, and because of which the vendor is willing to give me an additional discount of let's say 8%. So this is the whole idea of using value commitment. This is with respect to product. There can be a commitment which can be made with respect to product category, or it can be with simply a value commitment by which any item which you procure from the vendor will be eligible for the discount percent, not with respect to, not specifically to any item if you get into value commitment. So price and discount, you can see here this is now disabled. You can see all these fields are disabled. In our quantity commitment these were enabled for us to update. Right now this all these fields are disabled. So this also follows the same path, if I go over here and if I click on confirmation, um, let me not mark this as effective. I'm just keeping it as no. Then let me click on OK. So this has been confirmed, but the status is still on hold, right? So let me close this page. Let me refresh this form. So we have created two agreements for Acme Office Supplies. One is effective and one is on hold. Why I made this by this way is if I go to purchase orders, let me create a purchase order fresh from the start. So let me click on new, and then let me create this purchase order for Acme Office Supply, and site 1 warehouse 12. And I believe the site and warehouse are same for both the purchase agreements. It's site 1 and warehouse 12, and the other purchase agreement also it should be site 1. Sorry, site 1, it is warehouse 11. Okay, finally, sorry about it, but let me go back, and in the purchase agreement let me quickly change it. Let me change this to 11. So this is going to create another confirmation, so let me keep it as 11. I'm not going to mark this as effective. Let me click on OK. So we have now two agreements created for Acme Office Supplies. One is quantity commitment, another one is value commitment, right? And right now I'm going to create a purchase order for the Acme Office Supplies, and we have two agreements. One is in the status of effective, another one is in the status of on hold, right? So if we go to the purchase order, like I said before in the presentation, in the purchase order header also we will be able to tag the purchase agreements which are relevant for the combination of the vendors. So if I click on the purchase agreement drop down, here you can see the purchase agreement 1 and 3, purchase agreement 1 and 3, because the 1 and 3 are in the effective status, and both are with Acme Office Supplies. So that's the reason we are able to see that 1 and 3 option over here, which will be tagged to the purchase order. So if you want to create a purchase order by linking to this purchase agreement, you can also do it by while during the creation stage itself you can link the purchase agreement, and you can also see the transfer currency and delivery address from the purchase agreement. That's completely fine, and then you can click on OK. So this will link the purchase agreement to the purchase order. So now if I select the same item, Surface Pro laptop, then let it be site and warehouse, you can see the unit prices and discounts are picked from the purchase agreement, and let's say the quantity is 12, and we already created a purchase order from the purchase agreement with the quantity 10. Now we are creating a purchase order directly from the purchase order page, and we now linked it to the purchase agreement and with the quantity 12. Let me save this. Now let me go back to the purchase agreement, because I just want to show you the fulfillment. If you scroll down on the line detail section, if you click on fulfillment, you can see the remaining quantity is 68, because first we created a purchase order for 10 quantity, now we created a purchase order for 12 quantity, so 22 is already released. So based on the receipt and then followed by invoice, the quantity in the fulfillment will be updated. At any point in time you can come to the purchase agreement and track those details. So that's a fantastic functionality which is available in Dynamics 365. So, and you can also go to update line section, and if you want, you can remove the link. Then the prices will be fetched from the trade agreement, or if not, from the item master. And then you can proceed with the purchase order if you want to remove the link. Let's say if I click on remove link, do you want to remove the link to the purchase agreement line? Yes. And then the price and discounts, you can see this is a prompt which is coming, which is asking us to remove the discount and apply the discounts based on the item master. Now you can see the price has been changed, so now I don't have the eligibility for going to a price which I committed with the vendor, since that the link is removed. Let me go back to the purchase agreement and refresh this page. Now you can see the released quantity now changed back to 10 because we have removed the link for that particular purchase agreement. So that's the whole idea of using purchase agreement in Dynamics 365. So now we at a high level we saw what are all the different functionalities of purchase agreement and how do we use it based on the different commitment types. And we also saw how to create a purchase order from the purchase agreement, and also how to create a purchase order and then link it to a purchase agreement, whichever is in the effective status. But in the next episode, we will quickly see some of the important functionalities within purchase agreement, which will help us in terms of tracking those. And also we will see some of the important functionalities like max is enforced, price and discount is fixed. We will also see based on various statuses of the purchase order how these functionalities work. So thanks for watching this video. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel D3 Talks. I've also shared some useful links in this video's description. Please do check out the same. I will catch you soon in the next episode, episode number 9, Purchase Agreement Part 2. Sriram Sivashankaran signing off.